All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. So glad you could join us. By the way, a reminder, tomorrow we have Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars that's going to be joining us. Pretty cool reality show that just made it huge for his business, and pretty cool stuff. So he'll be joining us tomorrow on the program. As you know, many people here in Las Vegas are not very fond of Duke. We remember the rivalries they had back in the Jerry Tarkanian days, winning a national championship, and then, of course, the following year losing the national championship to Duke and Christian Laettner, who I've never been a very big fan of either. I've never been a fan of Duke. Yesterday was a really interesting situation because Duke is playing Pittsburgh. And as you know, the head basketball coach for Pittsburgh is Jeff Capel, who played under Mike Krzyzewski and was a great player for Duke.
And was an assistant with Krzyzewski a lot of years.
Really good player. Seems like a pretty good dude, too, from what I've heard. Really good coach, doing a good job with Pittsburgh. So there was a point in the game where Duke was up double digits. By the way, they ended up winning the game 79-67. And during that time, there was a chant by the crowd saying, "Jeff Capel, sit with us," mocking Jeff Capel, and just going after him. Personally, I don't have a problem with that chant. Now, look, many of these kids that go to Duke, you want to talk about white privilege. And I'm not saying everybody that attends Duke is white, but I'm saying there are a lot of kids. The conception is that there are a lot of kids at Duke that come from extremely wealthy families. Their families buy them into Duke University, and they're a bunch of spoiled brats. I would think that is certainly the case with some of them, not all of them. So this wouldn't be the first time that the Duke fans have, or the college students have shown no class. But the reason why I say I really don't have a lot of problem with this, because I don't think that's malicious. So anyway, they're doing this chant in the middle of the game. Mike Krzyzewski, in the middle of the game, the refs had to hold him back. Not because of the officials. He was yelling at the fans, so he screams out several times, "Stop it, stop it, stop it." The refs have to hold him back. Then when there's a timeout, Krzyzewski actually, this is in the middle of the game, not after the game, he actually walks across the court and says, "Knock it off. He's one of us."
Yes.
He slams his chest. He said, "He's one of us," and talking about Jeff Capel. I thought, Mike Krzyzewski, stop being such a damn baby, first of all, Krzyzewski. I understand you're going to go down as one of the best coaches of all time. I get that. Doesn't mean, you don't act like a buffoon sometimes. Your fans show no class on a regular basis. This is just another example of it, and all of a sudden he's going to get upset because Capel played for him. So I want to play you a little bit of this audio first, and then I want to get both of your reaction to it. This is Coach K speaking about his decision to go after the fans after the game. Here's what he had to say.
Once I heard his name, again, I'm not going to go say, "Will you please tell me exactly what you're doing?" So it's a mistake on my part, but I'd rather make the mistake in protection of my guy. And then I went just at the end of the half and said, "Look, he's our guy. Let's think of a different cheer. Let's put it like defense. Yeah, let's go. Come on, Duke. Let's go, Duke. Come on. You leave the other guy alone."
I like it. Let's
Man.
defense. Let's go, Duke.
Trying to tell the fans what they should chant is not usually a good way to go, in my opinion.
Hey, Coach K, do what you do best, and that is buying players and coaching. Okay, that's what you do best. As far as the chant goes,
did you just say buying players?
Yeah, he absolutely
You slipped that one through.
Yeah,
we did have Larry Eustace on yesterday, and he mentioned something.
For those of you who don't know who Larry Eustace is the former national college basketball coach of the year. He came in studio yesterday to talk a little about some Kobe Bryant stories. But the bottom line is all the top coaches have been cheating for years.
That's exactly what he said.
The difference being Coach K, they're such a good program.
He's protected.
He's protected. And what Larry said yesterday, I think, was very true, is that if you have the support of your administration and your athletic director, you can pretty much do almost whatever you want. And I think that's what Coach K has done. Does that take away from how good of a basketball coach he is? No, absolutely not. He's an unbelievable basketball coach.
I've never seen Coach K blow up like this before. Have you?
Absolutely, I've seen him blown
you
up.
Have.
To his players?
No, I'm talking about to the fans.
No, this has never happened before.
It's never happened before.
No,
do you
but
think
I've seen him go crazy on the sidelines. Absolutely.
We've talked to Michael Avenatti off air, and he's been pretty adamant in the fact that he has evidence on a lot of major college coaches,
including Zion Williamson.
With this Nike situation. Do you think that Coach K is maybe feeling the heat a little bit? Kind of like, Gerard Gallant. He goes crazy on the reporter 4 weeks ago, and then 2 weeks later he's fired. Do you think that maybe Coach K is feeling some heat that possibly the Nike situation could end up not in his favor?
No, I think this was all Coach K just upset that that the fans and the idiot fans were going after a former Duke great. While I understand he wants to protect one of his former players and one of his former assistant coaches, I personally thought that Coach K went over the line here.
I totally agree.
In the middle of the game to cross the court and to say, he's one of us. You want to talk about a snowflake. Coach K is a snowflake.
And it's really funny, you brought up a good point, but the Cameron Indoor Stadium or Cameron Indoor Arena home crowd advantage is amazing because those fans do that every single game, game in and game out.
It looks just like a UNLV game, doesn't it?
And it's just like UNLV game. Yeah,
the atmosphere is just on par, right, Brian?
30 years ago,
same thing.
Yeah.
But the atmosphere of the Cameron the Cameron Crazies, they're so close to the floor,
right,
that they're on top of the players almost.
Yeah,
he has a giant inherent home court advantage. So to me, he has no business making the statements.
Yeah, and I see these fans that these kids that are staring at Mike Krzyzewski when he's saying he's one of us, and they look like they're in a little bit of shock. Actually, I tell you something. I hope everybody on the road does that chant against Duke. I really do. I hope everybody does that.
The reason why Coach K went over the top is because it wasn't like the fans were shouting obscenities at Jeff Capel. It wasn't like they were, degrading him. They were talking to him as if he was, yes, one of them. They realized that Jeff Capel is part of the quote-unquote Duke family. And it wasn't anything that was negative and anything that was necessarily, so over the top. So I agree with you. I think Coach K did go a little wild, but Coach K, that's par for the course for him. He is a guy he's a great coach, no question about it, but he's also someone that can pop off and is a hothead at times. Mm-hmm. And so it didn't surprise me whatsoever they would do that. And I don't want to sound like I'm sticking up for him, but I guess I'm going to. When it is his guy, it's one of his coaches, it's one of his former coaches. He would have done that if it was Wojo that was coaching against him at Marquette, if it was any of the other coaches that have been on his tree that were there in Cameron Indoor Arena, and that the same situation happened. I bet Coach K would do the same thing. But to try to tell the fans what they should chant, just let it go, Coach K. You know what I mean? And as you guys pointed out, I think he just is way too overdramatic. You don't need to go run out in the court and yell at the fans.
I believe he showed an enormous amount of arrogance when he did that. I don't think a lot of coaches would have done that. I didn't like it. I thought he was in the wrong. While he said he made a mistake, he basically said he would do it again if somebody went after one. Listen, this is college basketball. The fans are ruthless, and basically what you're saying is you can be ruthless to anybody you want. Just don't be ruthless to one of my guys that I'm close to.
Right.
That's absurd. Okay, that's absurd. That's ridiculous. You're not God. Okay, so stop it, Coach K. I'd like to see how
he is on that campus, which is why he felt impelled to do that. You know what I mean? That's why he felt like it was okay, or I can just walk across the middle of my court in the middle of a game and go chastise my fans.
Can I just say this? Listen, Coach K is going to go down as one of the best coaches of all time. I get that. But I wonder how he would coach a team like Wyoming, right? I wonder how he would coach a team like San Jose State. Every year, the guy has an enormous amount of talent. Now, does he have the best talent in the country every year?
Well,
no.
Probably how he coached Army.
True. Yeah, I mean, it's a good question, Brian, but it's kind of, it's kind of unnecessary because you could put any coach in that position, right? You could say any great coach that's won national championships. Oh, we'll throw you down in the pit at New Mexico and see how you do with the Lobos. You know what I mean?
Well,
I think you could do that with anybody, and obviously they would not have the same success that they have.
Here's
at an institution like
Duke.
Duke.
A team that he had. I think it was 2010. He had John Shire, Kyle Singler, Nolan Smith, Lance Thomas. Not a bunch of 5-star guys. Not a lot of NBA talent.
Some pretty damn good college basketball players, though.
But relatively unathletic guys in comparison to the competition, and they won the national championship. That really surprised me.
Listen,
and showed how good of a coach Coach K is.
Like I said, I've said it 5 times, and I believe he's going to go down as one of the best to ever coach in college basketball. But I in my personal opinion, I'd rather have Rick Pitino than Mike Krzyzewski. That's me.
Well, yeah, you're talking best case scenario.
Yeah.
You're talking about one of the greatest coaches of all time. I'd rather have the greatest college coach of all time.
I'd rather have John Wooden than Mike Krzyzewski. I'd rather have Rick Pitino than Mike Krzyzewski. Listen, there's not many coaches that I'd rather have than Coach K. He's one of the best of all time.
Coach Stacey, I don't think would want to have John Wooden over Coach K.
Well, I didn't say that.
After yesterday's comments.
But on a positive note, I am going to say this, and I'm going to continue to say it because I've been echoing over the course of the last 6 to 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to talk UNLV here for a second. The fact that, the first month and a half of the season was awful, and T.J. Otzelberger has been able to turn things around for UNLV basketball.
Yep.
I give him all the credit in the world. And it's been about 10 years since I've said almost anything positive about UNLV basketball. But the last few weeks, I've stuck by it, and I'm still going to stand by it. TJ's doing an excellent job. His coaching staff is doing an excellent job. And, do they have talent? Yes. But I said they need to compete for a title. Nobody's beating San Diego State, and that's not UNLV's fault. But they are competing for number 2 right now. They are competing for number 2.
Which is overachieving.
Which is absolutely
drastically overachieving.
Yeah. And I think and I said this 6 weeks ago, when he decided not to start Amari Hardy, when he decided to suspend Tillman for a game, it's called accountability. Marvin Menzies didn't do it. And say what you want about Dave Rice. Dave Rice didn't do it either. Lon Kruger held players accountable. TJ Otzelberger and his staff are holding players accountable, and I think that is one of the main reasons why the effort is there with UNLV. They're competing. They actually had a chance to beat San Diego State over the weekend, and I give TJ Otzelberger and the coaching staff a lot of credit. So far, so good. He's done a very good job.
All right, Dubs, winning Wednesday.
Yes.
Iowa State, Baylor -4.
Baylor wins by double digits.
Okay, take the other side.
One of the best teams in college. Obviously, right now, top 3 in the country, right?
Right.
By the way, our producer, Jason Stein, is laughing in the other room. He's writing your picks down. He's going to bet the opposite. He's going to bet the opposite of every pick.
He's not the only one. There's listeners out there right now that are going to be listening to the KT show later that are all betting against me.
Here's a tougher game.
Okay.
Dayton, who was probably, I would say, the surprise.
Flyers.
The surprise in college basketball, number 7, they're 18-2 against Duquesne on the road. -8.
A big time A10 matchup right there,
Absolutely.
JD. I gotta go with Duquesne.
Oh boy.
I'm going Duquesne.
You know what? I kind of like. All right, your Spartans.
He's agreeing with me. JD's saying yes.
Your Spartans, Michigan State.
Yes, sir.
At home against the Northwestern Wildcats. They're giving up 17 points. What's happening?
I like Collins as a coach, and I think that Northwestern covers that.
Wow, you're going against Michigan State.
I'm not going against them. They're still going to win the game. They're still going to win by 16.
Knowing you, if you bet your entire bankroll on Michigan State money line, they would lose the game tonight.
I think they win the game by 20 plus. Final game: San Diego State on the road at New Mexico -11.5.
That's a tough one. Not really. San Diego State by 16.
Well, okay.
I'm actually on New Mexico, and it's going to be kind of a hefty wager.
Okay, let me say that.
The point guard goes nuts again for
No.
the Aztecs tonight.
Malachi?
The guy's unbelievable.
Malachi's
the guy is
good.
top
He's good.
5 pick in the NBA draft.
No, he's not.
Hold on. Keep this in mind.
He's 5'11".
The Pit is one of the most difficult places to play in college basketball. New Mexico is not very good. They don't defend. I understand that.
They do score, though,
however,
in bulk.
That's what I was going to say.
Did you
stole
just
the
use
words out of
very
my
good
mouth.
describing New Mexico?
New Mexico can score, and San Diego State. The 1 week they do have a lot of guys that can score.
Yeah.
But the one weakness they have is they can go 3-4 minute stretches without scoring. So I'm on JD's side on this one. All right, folks, it's been a fun show. I want to thank all of our guests. Of course, Kobe Bryant's former pilot came on our show. We appreciate him coming on. We had Oscar Goodman, the former mayor of Las Vegas. He joined us as well. Tomorrow on the show, Pawn Star's very own Rick Harrison will be joining us. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Chris, good job as always. Always appreciate it.
Yep.
I'm going against all your picks, so I appreciate that as well. You're helping my bankroll.
Good idea.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. All right, we're going to take a 21-hour break, everybody. Sean Hannity coming up next. Have a great day.